Hello, and you are listening to Air3Radio. This is a recorded interview with me, William Harmer, head of the music side of Air3, and I'm with Sabrina Fallah. Say hi.
Hi.
So, to introduce you to our listeners, who are you and what music do you make?
Well, I'm Sabrina Fallah, and I'm from Canada, Ottawa, Ontario, and I make rock music.
That's what it says on the tin. You recently released an album this year, yeah? Self-titled.
Well, I released, my compilation CD with all of my songs from previous with a new track,
Nice.
Everything. So, yeah.
How would you describe everything as a song?
Oh, okay. So Everything is actually it's a teenage anxiety song. It's about what you go through basically as a teenager having anxiety. So it's like, imagine you're going out and then you have to pretend to put a smile on your face, but it's actually fake because inside you're not feeling so good.
Yeah.
So, as a teenager, you go through all those different feelings and you put popularity and being pressured to do things. So that's what the song's basically about.
Yeah, an expression of that sort of position that you're in and the sort of discontentment. How long have you been making music for? I asked this of basically everyone who I've interviewed thus far. I think it's a really interesting avenue to go down because everybody has different introductions to music.
Yeah, well, when I first started, I was very young. I actually started writing poetry and stories. I don't know my age, so I just say around grade 4. And then I learned the piano at age 10. And then after that, a few years later, somebody told me, you can't carry your piano with you everywhere or your keyboard. It might be a little bit tough to bring it around. And then they said, why don't you learn the guitar? So then I took lessons for like 2 weeks just to see if I liked it. I liked it so much that I went and bought a guitar afterwards. So that was around, I think, 15 or 16 years old. So I've been doing it for a while now.
Mm-hmm. Most of the people I've chatted to have a connection with music from a young age, so this does not surprise. What drew you to rock music in particular?
Well, when I was younger, my cousin, we would meet him because he's from the States and I'm from Canada. So we would go to Toronto to see my aunt in the summer, and he would bring the band's albums that he would buy that year to show it to me. And one day he introduced me to Green Day.
Oh, yes.
And Green Day's Dookie and Slappy Hours album and Kerplunk. He introduced them to me and I liked it. But I was still searching for what I wanted. So then a year or two later, I hear about American Idiot. And I'm like, hold on a second. Is that the same band my cousin introduced me to? So American Idiot, Green Day's album, that was the album that got me to thinking, okay, rock, punk rock, let's do it, So that was the album that album inspired me a lot.
Yeah.
To write more music.
It's a fantastic album. I'm not surprised.
And I've seen them twice. I've seen them live twice. So.
How long have you been actively producing music for the wider public now? You've had a relationship with music since you were young, but how long has it been since that you've been basically making music for the world, essentially? I know I can see from...
Maybe 13.
Yeah. So 13?
Because I was recording little tracks and demos and stuff when I was young in my cousin's studio, which I put out, but I didn't put it on iTunes at that time. I don't even think iTunes even existed back then. It was all MySpace.
Yeah.
So I did the MySpace thing. And then I got the studio experience from my cousin. And then when I wanted to go into making a bigger production, a bigger record, and then I go into the bigger studio, and then the iTunes came, and then I released it on iTunes. But back in the day, I just had it on MySpace.
Yeah.
I would have like 82,000 listens.
Awesome.
But now MySpace changed everything. It took everything off.
Oh, no.
So... yeah, it's not MySpace anymore. It's like a MySpace Facebook mix.
Oh.
But I still use it, but nobody's on it anymore.
Yeah, poor MySpace has become a very sort of lonely space, unfortunately, since Facebook becomes so popular.
I know, but Facebook is good though.
Yeah, it is good for keeping in contact with those you love. Wow, 13! I did not expect that.
I'm thinking 13 because I was writing very young.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking 13. It's in my younger teen years.
Yeah.
Like even if I learned a bit of guitar, I wasn't playing intermediate.
Yeah.
So I've easy chords. So
Yeah.
I was very young when I started, and then I got to learn more structure and ways of playing. But I still have my recordings from when I was very young, and then I hear it. I'm like, oh my God, I sound like a baby.
I used to produce and put things online myself when I was like a teenager. I know how that feels when you go back and you just look at how young you were and how inexperienced you sound, and like, oh, that's me. Oh.
But at that time you're thinking it's the best,
yeah,
you know, it's the best thing ever, and now it's like, okay, I sound way better.
Do you have a particular instance in your mind where when you were perhaps getting into music as a career, as a profession, and you said to yourself, yep, this is what I want to do?
Yep, the minute I won my first competition at 14, I had a competition. I sang One Day by Simple Plan, and as soon as I got the trophy, I won first place. I said, yep, this is what I'm going to do.
Nice. I think a lot of people sort of become enamored with the idea of performing and making music for as a profession through like just getting on a stage and doing it. I think I've interviewed a few people who have had that experience as well. Mm-hmm. It will change you being up on there and being like, I'm performing to people and people are listening and they're thinking
and they're enjoying it too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
From your most recent compilation, I must ask, do you have a particular favorite song? We talked about everything, but is there any other songs that you would highly recommend, perhaps, to first-time listeners?
It's tough because I like all the songs that I write.
Yeah.
So I don't like picking from my own songs that.
Yeah.
I feel it'll be mean.
It's like choosing your children. Oh, how could I?
Like I can say like which song I like to perform the most live as my favorite song to perform live, but to choose a song that is my favorite out of all the songs I've released, can't do it that way.
Fair. Well, how about your favorite song to perform live? What would that be?
One Chance. Mm-hmm. It's old school Green Day style.
I like it. I must say there's been a sort of influx in rock music recently. Had a bit of a downturn in the 2000s when new forms of music became popular. But I must say rock music is becoming popular again in many ways. I think many people are reinventing it.
I think in Europe, maybe.
Yeah. So it's
but
certainly
in Canada and the States is all pop and R&B and stuff. But there are rock singers out there. They're just not in the spotlight because of all the other artists that are up in the front.
Yeah.
But in Europe is where all the rock bands are. I hear Europe is a good place for rock music. So.
I think I'd agree with you. The amount of European rock outfits I've seen as I've been doing the new music show has outweighed American ones, which is I think you're right. I don't know why, but there is a certain attachment to rock here.
But I think rock will come back here.
Yeah.
Because I think it goes in a circle.
Yeah.
So rock will come back, but it has to go in that circle thing. Everything goes in a circle.
Yeah, everything.
Fashion, makeup.
Yeah.
Everything.
Do you have a particular moment in your mind, like a favorite time when you were performing? Do you have an interesting instance that you can think of, something that perhaps sticks out to your head?
I have a few.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I did a show in Barbados. I got an opportunity to perform at the Hotel Festival. I think I did 2 evenings or a morning or 2 mornings and an evening. But either way, it was by the water and it was beautiful. And being there, because I was the only Canadian singer there, everybody was calling me Miss Ottawa. Everywhere they saw me, hi Ottawa. I was like, they didn't remember my name, so they would call me Miss Ottawa, which is cute. They all recognized me because everybody there knows each other.
Mm.
I got recognized a lot, which was fine because everybody was so nice.
In my experience, I realize I've interviewed a lot of rock artists. Seems to me that a lot of live shows can get pretty hectic in terms of what goes on in the crowds and things like that. Everyone has an interesting story to tell. Let me think. I had struggled to get a proper set of interview questions ready as much as
That's okay.
The
questions you're asking me are very different from all the other ones, from all the other people who have interviewed me. So it's nice.
What sort of questions do you get usually asked?
The same old questions.
Yeah.
How did you start? Who are your influences? Who is your main influence?
Yeah.
Where have you performed? And I'm like, oh my God.
When you're interviewing someone, you've got to try and at the very least not only sort of try and get like the sort of what you want to know, like what sort of music you make, what your influences are, all that stuff. So I think you should try and show interest and actively ask about the experiences that they present. Like, been a lot of times when going off the cuff finds more interesting questions than just sticking to a pattern.
Yeah, like I don't mind being asked those questions, but I like getting the one like interesting question, like, oh, I've never been asked that one.
Yeah.
I like being asked something different or asked in a different way.
Yeah.
But sometimes a lot of interviews you hear, even from the stars, they are being asked the same old questions mostly over and over again.
Yeah.
So
there's only, I suppose there are, like, for most publications and things like that, you're trying to get the thing that your listeners and your readers want to know, and
right.
I think a lot of people assume the same, like all readers want the same thing, which
yes.
I don't know. I think it's more interesting to get personal with an artist, because art is a personal thing, you know.
Yeah.
However, you do bring up an important question that I think I should have asked previously. Who are your influences? I think that is a very good question.
Well, as you know, Green Day is my main.
Yes.
So they'll always be first. But then Bon Jovi kind of slid in there. And then Billy Idol kind of got in there.
Yeah.
So, and I've seen them all live as well. So I have to say that Billy Idol still has it.
Would you say that he's your favorite in terms of live performance, or do you think you have a different one?
I have to say I've seen Green Day, Bon Jovi, and Billy Idol, and they all have different types of performances.
Yeah.
Because they all try to grab the audience differently. I cannot say that but all I can say is that Billy Idol started with my favorite song of his. So that kind of made my night. Bon Jovi, his voice live is amazing.
I've heard that Bon Jovi's voice hasn't really changed much.
Like, don't even look at the record that they tweak it and fix it up. Like, if you hear him live, you don't need the record.
Yeah.
Like, he sounds better because the record, they're trying to sell it, right?
Yeah.
Make it perfect. But at least he can sing it live.
Yeah.
Like, these artists can sing it live. They don't need to be tweaked and auto-tuned. Like, I don't mind auto-tune, but don't put it in my music.
Yeah, I get you. If you're,
I don't want to sound robotic.
Yeah.
You know?
You're performing very emotive, very intense, personal music, and sort of adding that layer of editing to it. It detracts from the experience.
I don't believe that rock needs auto-tune.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be having an attitude, punchy feel. We don't need to have that sound there to fix our voices. We're supposed to sound raw anyway.
Yeah.
I even like if I go off, I want people to know I'm a human.
Yeah.
I don't want them to see that I'm being fixed all the time. I want them to know that I'm actually singing, no matter sick or not sick or this and that, you know? Like, yeah. I'm not lip singing. Oh my God, lip singing is the worst. Because the worst thing is you will always get caught at some point because your lips will not always match.
Yeah. I think there's a library of just different compilations of lip sync mishaps that I've watched.
Yeah.
Oh no,
and they practice so hard and still, but it's sad because it's because they were sick, but still you have to be so on the dot, like
Yeah.
perfectly with it, and you can't.
If in my experience, I've heard a lot of artists talk about what they do if they are sick. The best advice I think I heard was from Tom York, who he recently did a Desert Island Discs, and he was talking about how he had to take care of his voice basically, and he learned that you have to make sure that you are healthy, and you need to try and balance out going on tours with making sure that you are okay. If you were to go out on stage and you're sick and you think to yourself, okay, I'll just have somebody fix it up in post or something like that. It's less than just if you took your time, if you canceled, or if you just did a different performance where you're healthier, you know?
It depends how sick you are, though.
That's true. Sometimes I hear a certain sickness can give a level of grunginess to vocals.
Sometimes when you're sick, it gives it more edge if you're a rock singer. But at the same time, it's not good to be singing anyway.
Yeah.
So you're thinking, but the thing is, if you have the money and you're on tour and you can get the right people to help you, you're lucky. They know what to do. But if you're like somebody like me, and I don't have that money and those people around me yet, hopefully one day. But I just have to not talk and drink a lot of fluid.
Yeah.
And hope I don't have what's that? What's that? It's not sore throat. Oh yeah, it's strep throat.
Oh,
if you have strep throat, you can't sing anyway.
Yeah.
But sore throat, as long as you get rid of the soreness, you'll be fine. But still, they say do not sing.
Yeah. Lots of rest and making sure that you don't sort of wreck your voice by overextending.
If you sing it, you're gonna damage your voice. Yeah.
I think a lot of rock artists unfortunately fall into that. They just sort of keep going at their voice regardless of whether or not it's healthy.
But if they're pushed to do it, they don't really have a choice.
That's true. A lot of
sometimes, but then
there.
in the end, I'm sure they are taking care of it as much as they can too. But if I was pushed to sing, I'd be like, yo, you want me to sing in a month too? Like, sometimes you have to fight and be like, I don't want to get sick or sicker. I don't want to lose my voice.
Yeah.
Like Adele got nodes. And she couldn't sing because she was singing so much that she lost her voice.
I remember. Yeah.
And then she had to go get the operation, and now she's better. And now she tells her label, I'm not going to sing as much as you tell me to because I want to be healthy.
Yeah. I've heard this. I've heard this story. Oh.
They make you perform and perform and perform to make money. But at the same time, they have to think about the health.
Yeah.
Do I really have to do 3 shows in this state at 3 days in a row? No.
Yeah. It's just, you just have to.
I can do it today and then come back in a month when I do that turn coming back.
Yeah.
You also have to tell them how much you can handle because they want their money and you don't want to lose your voice.
Yeah. It's a nice little balance.
This is the business. This is the business. When people want money and you're doing shows, you have to think about yourself too.
Yeah. You have to make sure that you as a person are doing okay. And even if you want to do something to, like, either for your fans or for the business, like, you essentially are the most important part of that whole operation, and
exactly,
you don't treat yourself with the respect you deserve, everything just crumbles.
Yeah.
Before we take off, because I think this interview has rounded itself off nicely, I'd like to ask one last question. Do you have any future plans or projects that you'd like to talk about?
Ooh, all I can say is I'm writing some new songs.
Yeah.
Going into the studio at some point, but nothing is set. Yeah. But I'm excited for what I've been working on. So.
I'm color me excited as well. I cannot wait to hear what you've got cooking up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you very much for chatting with me today, Sabrina. It's been lovely.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, and well, thank you all for listening. Yes. If you're listening live or if you're listening on the website, cheers. Thank you all.
So, just one question. You're in Scotland, right?
Yeah.
Your accent.
I know. Okay, I understand. I have no idea why my accent sounds the way it does. I have been told it sounds English or American.
Yes,
or
it
neither.
does.
It's
I know. I don't hear the Scottish.
I don't
in
know. I don't
not
know.
not as.
I've lived here all my life, and yet
I know, and no, it's interesting because I expected it to be like a stronger accent,
Yeah.
but maybe it's something unique.
It's unique to me. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.